Let's take a look at Microsoft Word within the Office 365 suite. And we're focusing primarily on the accessibility features that are kind of built in to the program itself. So if we look even just at this toolbar across, we're going to notice that there's the Dictate button onto the right side. If it is the first time that you're using speech to text or dictation, or your students are, when they click on it, it may ask you for permission. If it is not the first time, then you will see, like on mine where this microphone popped up on the bottom, that it will automatically start working, period. You can pause it in between just by clicking on the microphone. The gear box right next to the microphone, if you click on that, you can adjust the language as well as if they're going to put in auto punctuation or not. So that is the speech to text piece of this. I recommend that we encourage learners to label their document as soon as they make it. When you're in Microsoft Word, you hit plus new document, blank. But when you're in it, you can click on the title. This is document 9. The reason we want to name it is if not, the students are going to end up with document 9, document 10, document 12. So for example, this is going to be my example document. And so that it's named and it's going to automatically save. The next portion that I want to drag your attention to is the view bar. So once we click on view in the toolbar, we see that we now have access to reading view and immersive reader. We can also zoom in for students that may need the text enlarged. Let's first take a look at the reading view. So what the reading view does is it takes away that toolbar on top. You can edit the document. If you click this, it's going to take you right back to the screen that we are on. And then it provides you access to accessibility mode. You're able to select the 3 buttons on the side, and you can have Immersive Reader, Translate, Download, Download as a PDF, and the basic ones underneath. We're going to select Immersive Reader. Immersive Reader changes the view. So you're going to see it doesn't look like a Word document. It's just as the text. It has the text larger. You can adjust the spacing between lines or between words if that's something that's beneficial for your learner. And then what you would do is you just hit play and it's going to read the text as it highlights. You can tell it looks a little bit quick. You can pause it and select the gearbox with the speaker, and that's going to, you can adjust the speed and you can adjust the male or female voice. So the speech is synthesized. It's not terrible. We do have it at a fairly slower rate, so there's less kind of prosody in that piece of it. Once you're in the Immersive Reader, you have 3 different key settings that you can adjust. You can adjust the text, so you can make that text larger, or you can make it smaller. It's going to adjust how many lines are on the page. You can increase the spacing or decrease it. So when increased spacing is not turned on, it looks more like your text. For some of our students who struggle with tracking, the extra space is helpful. You can adjust the font. You can also adjust the colors. And so this is more of something to think about with some of your students. If they do better with certain color overlays, you can adjust and include those. There's more colors in there as well. You can also turn on and show source formatting. That didn't do too much difference in this level. So then let's go to the grammar options. For grammar, you can turn on so it's going to identify all the nouns or the verbs or the adjectives. This would be helpful if you're trying to bring your students' attention to how many nouns they're using or how many adjectives or adverbs to give that feature. This isn't a very highly used tool. The last tool is reading preferences. This you can do a line focus. So again, for those students who struggle with tracking, they can highlight one line at a time as they read it, or 3. So 1, 3, or just have everything showing. You can turn it off. The picture dictionary is pretty neat. It pulls in BoardMaker pictures. It is not going to have an image for each word. So for example, the word it doesn't have an image, but they could still hear it. This is a tool, so if the student is reading and then they get to a word they're not sure of, they can click on it, there'll be an icon, and then also the audio. So you can see not all words have the icon, but some of the ones that may be more complex to read do have those icons, or are more nouns, have those icons as well. You can also translate the text for students that may need that tool. That's the basic functions of the Immersive Reader within Word. To navigate back, we're just going to go to Immersive Reader. And then you can see we have our toolbar back here on top. So within Microsoft, we're using the dictate for the speech to text. We're going to view to access the Immersive Reader or Reader. Those are tools that the student would use after typing and putting their feedback in there to be able to go back and listen to it to edit. We are going to look at our Review tab and take a look at some of the spelling and grammar options. If you do the drop down, you can adjust the autocorrect option, set the proofing, and do the editing settings. There's a lot of editing settings that you can turn on or turn off, depending on what support your student might need or what support you want them to kind of not have. When you go into set proofing language, there's a box that you can check or uncheck. Don't check spelling or grammar. I recommend checking it so it isn't checking it for the student. They're able to type their ideas. They're not getting that red underline to distract them where they're focusing on the spelling versus getting their ideas out there. The student can then, after finishing writing, go and check the spell check grammar or go back and check this box so that they don't have that underlining to kind of distract them. I also wanted to bring your attention to using comments. Comments are a great way to support the student and give some feedback without being in their face or making them feel uncomfortable with that direct commenting. If you use the @ plus the student's name, you're able to provide a comment that will go directly to their email as a prompt. So we might say, nice job using adverbs in this paragraph. Please double check your punctuation. And then you can hit send, and it's going to provide that feedback, and the student can come back and they'll see those pieces and they can resolve those and move along those comments. It allows you to give them specific feedback without being visibly there. That's another way that you can also do virtual peer reading or buddy reviews, where students are sharing that document and they're able to edit it kind of and give those comments in the moment. There's a quick share link here that you're able to, once you start the document, automatically share it with your teacher to hand it in, or automatically share it with your teacher or peer for some editing feedback support. So those are the main features of Microsoft. Depending on the tool the student is using, if they have a laptop or a desktop, they can open Microsoft within a desktop app. It does provide a little bit more features that are in the full Word document. But for now, for most students, they're successfully accessing these tools using the dictation, using an Immersive Reader or the reading review, as well as the spell check within there. And there's also the built-in translation feature. You can use the comments, those are the main kind of features of Microsoft Word that are built in and accessible on all students' accounts.